Hi, all. Welcome to another Word of the Week. Happy Sunday. As you know, we do this every week, and I hope that last week's word is still, you're still applying it to your life. This week, the word of the week is identity. Um, Identity. What do you attach your identity to? Or is your identity just attached to you? But we'll find out. But the word of the week is identity. Who are you? Who are you? What do you attach yourself to? Do you attach yourself to your job, what you earn, your family, or do you just attach yourself to yourself? Or maybe you attach yourself to where you're from. But identity. You see, identity can make or break you. You could be identified with something out of strength or out of weakness. Let me tell you something. You see, identity. What you want to be in life is you want to be totally independent. That should be your goal in life, to be totally independent. You want to be able to not rely on anything or anyone. If you think about people that are messed up in the world, and the idea and definition of messed up has changed. Back in the day, for someone to be messed up, you've got to be a drug addict, because the picture of a drug addict has changed as well. It's not someone who's sort of strung out. That's an extreme picture. But maybe you do something a bit too much. You drink a bit too much, a little bit too much. You take a particular drug a little bit too much. That's a drug addict. Um, but there's different types of, you could be addicted to many different things, but that's all in the category of being messed up. So if you take a look at that, people that let's take a look at the easiest one, a drug addict, right? You see, they identify with something outside of themselves. And let me tell you, this is a key that I'm going to give you. Whenever you identify with something that is other than yourself, you're going to run into trouble. But that's most of you. I know that's most of you because that is most of the world. Whenever you identify with something other than yourself, and what I mean by that is if you make something outside of yourself your identity, you're gonna go into trouble. I'm gonna say that again because you need to listen to my words. Whenever you make something outside of yourself your identity, you're going to run into trouble. So let's take a look at the easiest one. As I said, the drug addict. The drug addict, they take a particular drug and that becomes them. So the sort of rhetoric they say to themselves is, without that drug, I am nothing. Or without that drug, I can't function. You understand where I'm going with this? Without me taking that particular substance, I won't be balanced. Without, you understand? So everything relies on this thing that is not them, that is outside of them. Now let's take it to something more subtle. Some people are addicted to Instagram, to people giving them praise, and that praise coming from something outside of themselves. Do you know what that makes them? They're addicted to that particular thing. Sometimes it's they buy clothes, they take pictures for people to recognize them. And if it's Instagram, a like or comment. Or if it's real life, I like that outfit. Where did you get? But when they rely on it and they do things for those reactions, you're addicted to that praise. And that's a lot of people who are addicted to being praised by things or people that's not them, that's outside of themselves. You see, how it works is this: you are your own universe. If you think of it like that, you are your own universe. So think of inside of you being your universe. So inside of you, you've got your sun, you've got your planets, you've got your moon, and you've got your stars. All inside of you. It works all inside of you. You are your own universe. Now, whenever you reach for something outside of your own universe, be it love, big one, massive one, be it love, be it attention, be it praise, be it self esteem. All these things are identities. Whenever you identify slash make something outside of yourself your identity, you're always gonna run into trouble. You're always gonna fail in the end. And just like a film, you might not see, like a film, you can see it coming a mile off. So you can see someone making the wrong choice, but then they'll pay for their choices later on. And that's just a bit like life, where relying on, let me do this or that for some likes on Instagram. Let me do this or that. For the first few weeks, first few months, you might not see the effects of that, but you go on long enough, and these days they'll call it mental health. You do that long enough, and your happiness will start to reduce. And the reason why your happiness will start to reduce is because you have relied on something that is outside of yourself. You have made something else your identity that is outside of your own universe. So that is why this week's word of the week is identity. What are you using as your identity? The perfect way to go, the perfect way to live on is this: I am who I am, and I'm gonna keep on getting to know myself. But for love, you see, we all come out, whether it's good or bad, we all come out of families, and that's usually where we first experience what love is and what belonging is. But as an adult, this is how you should and ought to move. This is the perfect life. I am who I am, and I'll continue to learn who I am. But in terms of love, I have to reach down into my soul for the love that I wish to receive. Meaning, if I'm not happy with myself, no one else is going to be happy with me, and I'm not going to expect anyone else to be happy with me, and I'm not going to rely or seek for anyone else to be happy with me until I'm happy with myself. Being happy with my flaws, being happy with the things that I'm still fixing. If I'm not happy with myself, I cannot go out into the world and seek a relationship, friendship, anything of love if I haven't first given myself that love first. You understand? Another, if I'm not happy with myself, I cannot rely or seek anything else to bring me happiness. I can't go to a party and expect to have happiness. Not fleeting joy, but happiness, real happiness. I can't seek happiness from a party, an object, a situation, a relationship, if I am not happy with myself. I have to learn to be happy with myself and get that happiness from my own universe. Because this is what happens. When I'm happy with myself, I will automatically give that happiness to other people to other things. So when I'm doing my work, whatever that work may be, I'll be putting happiness into that work. When I'm loving someone else, that happiness will automatically comes. When I'm talking to someone else, they will feel, wow, you're happy, because the happiness has come from myself. I am my own source, and I mean power source, like electricity. I am my own source. Whatever I need in life has to come through me. You understand? And that's like a esoteric way of speaking, but I'm breaking it down for you, and I'm gonna continue to break it down for you. I have to be, and this is when I say I'm meaning you too. You have to be your everything. You can't rely or identify with other things. For example, if you got like a promotion with, if you got a new job, if you got a promotion in your job, anything like that, if that makes you happy, you're in big trouble, because you are already supposed to be the happiness that you want. You understand that? I'm going to do more. If I have bought a new car, if that new car has made me happy, I'm going to be in big trouble, because I am already supposed to be feeling that happiness from myself. My happiness shouldn't be identified as that car, because if anything happens to that car, then what happens to my happiness? My happiness isn't supposed to come from a relationship, because if something happens to that relationship, what happens to my happiness? And that's where you get people like committing suicide, and that's extreme, but they something will happen to their happiness, and then they'll they won't act the same. They'll do things to themselves. They'll treat themselves in a bad way, all because they have relied on something outside of themselves. You are your own happiness. And let me tell you something. You got to listen to real clearly to these few words that I'm gonna say. Your happiness. So you're supposed to be happiness, and that happiness is called constant bliss. You're supposed to be in constant bliss, and that constant bliss shouldn't be affected by anything other than yourself. That means even if I get a new house, whatever happens that is outside of myself, I get a new relationship, a new house. Give me some more things. I buy clothes, I all sorts. They give me a million views, all sorts. Whatever happens that is even good outside of myself, in actual fact, it is not supposed to change the happiness I already feel inside of me. It's not supposed to make it go up, and it sure as hell isn't supposed to make it go down, because you're not supposed to identify and have your identity in these other things. You see, what happens is when you become your source, you become independent. And when you become independent, your life belongs to you, and your happiness belongs to you. Up or down, you see, you won't go up or down. You will be in constant bliss. But the opposite of that is when you make all these things your identity, when you identify with all these things, that is where, and that's probably what's happening in some of your lives right now. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm alright. It's just, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm very good actually. Oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm just trying to. No. You're supposed to be in constant bliss, just like a newborn baby. In terms of a newborn baby, sure they'll cry sometimes, but really they're floating in their mind. Their happiness is just they're floating. If you do something to the baby, they'll but then they go back to real quick, and they could switch it real quick, because really their happiness is just, and even sometimes you can be sad, emotional. That's fine, but being sad and emotional doesn't mean it has to change your happiness. You understand? So I'm talking real deep things here. But that is, I don't want to be too long, but that is the word of the week: identity. What you got to think about your own life. What have you made your identity? And is your identity somewhere outside of your own self? Somewhere outside of your own universe? If it is, you need to check it, because everything that you want, you already have inside of yourself. Your job is to draw it outside of yourself. If someone hurt you, whether that be family, relationship, friendship, if someone has hurt you, they're not even supposed to be able to hurt you, because your happiness wasn't supposed to be in them in the first place. Your happiness was always supposed to be here. And so no matter what people do to you, it shouldn't affect your bliss, your constant joy, your happiness. It should just be what it is, and nothing deeper. Oh, I'm disappointed that they did that to me. But you should remain the same. It doesn't now mean, oh, no one cares about me, because your happiness was never supposed to be there. Your happiness was always supposed to be here. Yeah? Identity. What are you identifying with? And if you are identifying with something, you need to change that, and you need to get your identity from who you already are, from what you already are. Draw it out of you, and that should be your identity. It's a real deep subject. I'm sure we'll touch on it at a later date. But as you go into this week, think of where you're basing your happiness, what you're identifying as your happiness. All right, until next week, have a happy, great week, exciting week, and I'll see you next Sunday for another word of the week. Take care.